everyone, and welcome back to Black Cats TV. We're back here talking about another draw. Draw, not defeat. Feels like a defeat one, but also a little bit of context into maybe a reason why we got the draw. But Mike, how's your day been before we start?
All right, yeah. I've just got back from Scotland, so I missed out doing the commentary on the draw. But must have been a nice dramatic last 5 minutes for you.
Yeah, you can say that. It was more annoying and frustrating the fact that we couldn't do that for the second 45, really, or even all of it at that point, really. It was like, where was this for the past however long it's been? But, it wouldn't be frustrating. It wouldn't be normal if it wasn't Sunderland doing things the difficult way, would it now?
I don't put much blame on us.
Do you not?
They got a penalty they shouldn't have had. We should have had a penalty when we didn't get it. So that puts it to 3-1 right there.
Yeah.
And
which wasn't your score prediction at the time. I think you said 2.
No, I said 2-0. Yeah, I did. But it's just like it's the usual. We just seem to take a while to get hold of it, and I don't think Samed is fitting in at the moment. I don't know what's going on with that. We were promised a lot with him, and he's really not fitting in. And Rigg has not been firing on all cylinders since his injury, and Dan Neil, we know, is a roll of the dice. He can have a wonderful game and he can have a terrible game. So at the moment, the midfield that we had an abundance of players of seems to be the weak point.
It seems to be that way. I mean, I think we've established already after a couple of games with Samed, which is you're not a starter unless we're not the favourites in the game. You like at Middlesbrough, when he came on to shore us up for the end, I was like, I'm all right with this. This is a very sort of clever decision, get him on the ball, just simple passes, keep us moving. Whereas when you start him against Plymouth at home and when you start him against Watford at home, are you almost setting up too defensive from the start? But,
Yeah, I mean, but he's forced into that change, right? We lost Job, but for me, Job twists his ankle getting on the bus, getting off the bus, whatever he did, or in training beforehand. Lafille surely then goes into the middle, and you've got Mienda who can start.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the proven team for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's this drum that I keep banging on, but I'm a bit like, how is Mienda not starting in this team? There's, like you say, you move Enzo in the middle if you're dropping out Job, and you put Rigg a bit further back, Neil where he's been all season, just for his consistency, because he's been playing well the last couple of months in that position. And then you go, okay, right, so now you've got a gap on the left, Mienda. Or if you want, you move Roberts out there and you put Mienda on the other side. Like, that's it. When Mundell's fit, Mundell's your option out there, and Lefay in the middle, of course, and or Watson if he came back sooner or something like that. But, I mean, I'm trying not to get too annoyed the fact that Poveda came on the pitch before Mienda on the weekend. But, I mean, you might have seen in the group chat earlier on, I was just sending out shite all the way through it. Like, not a fan.
I mean, it's questionable substitutions again.
Yes.
And all late as usual. Not too late this time. It's like started at 60 minutes with Samed coming off and Alexic going on.
Yeah.
And they do seem to be more attacking changes when you bring in Alexic on and you bring in Poveda on for Roberts. I'm not sure about that one. Poveda on for anyone's not a decision. But that did seem like an attacking move by Labrie. But yeah, like I say, before you've even got Mienda's boots laced up, you put in Poveda on.
Yeah, it was. I think he took off Samed and he took off, was it Roberts? And he just went with, let's just get 2 runners on, because Alexic likes to run at people and Poveda apparently likes to run at people. Although all I saw him do was run backwards every time he got the ball. Just at least he didn't injure himself. That's one negative, I guess, from this whole thing. It would have been nice to sort of see him go off again, not in a nasty way, just.
Was it a penalty?
For me, no. What did you think?
I don't think it was a penalty at all. I think he put his foot across. It just wasn't. There was no intent there. It didn't need to go down at all. It was such a soft penalty. It was pathetic.
Yeah, it was the sort of. I've watched it a few times now, and it's like, I'm not saying he doesn't get there first. He clearly gets there first. And does Sirkin take a swipe? He absolutely does. But he does not touch the player. And if you're telling me 2 players touching almost hip to hip is enough to send you over, then I don't think you should be playing football, really.
Yeah,
but,
it's Paul.
The ref just saw from his angle, because the ref's got the angle where he'll only see it some reverse of Sirkin swiping, and maybe that's what's done it. But there's a linesman right in front of it who should see as well. Well, actually, he hasn't touched him. But it was probably one of them that in the Premier League with VAR, they probably go, "Oh, the ref's right. It's too close for us to really say it's wrong."
Then the other end, you're happy to have somebody literally strapped onto the back of Isidore like some sort of human life jacket, both arms wrapped around him for the whole period he's going down. Yeah. And that's not a penalty?
No, it was, there were some crazy decisions and just baffling. I think I even said in the commentary, I was like, the things that he's giving aren't free kicks. The things that he's not giving are free kicks. And the things that he is giving are the wrong way round. Like, it was just really bizarre, really bizarre. And that's a Premier League ref. But
you can't jump on the team, stats-wise. 14 shots to their 11, 7 on target to their 5, 49% of possession. That's, you're talking 50-50 there. 414 passes, 80% pass accuracy. That's a really good stat,
Yeah.
11 fouls to their 20. 20!
Yeah, I know, mental.
And we won 7 corners out of there, and they had 3. So
yeah,
we had all the stats on our side, just not the luck, I think.
It was interesting that about 35 minutes, though, the, the possession in our favour was 28%.
It's that old Sunderland, again, that I said we snuck back into this. Let's take 40 minutes to get started. It's not good enough. And even worse, when we've scored a goal, you go 1-0 up and we're like, we've got this.
Yeah. And to be honest, a little bit of that crept in with me about we've got this, it's under control now. We've got a nice early goal. Let's go on and get 2 or 3. And I think a few people in the comments said the same thing. And we just sat back. It was bizarre.
Without that penalty at 43 minutes, do they get back into that game?
I think they were camping us in, so it felt like they were in the ascendancy. They'd had their first proper shot just seconds beforehand, but it felt like something's coming here. Maybe we were just trying to see it out. But
that's just being a Sunderland fan, right? You've always got that underlying feeling of we're going to screw this up somehow.
But I wanted to talk about the bigger mission that was Jobe Bellingham, really, because obviously, I don't know if you've seen it doing the rounds, of course, here, but basically every time he's not being in our starting 11, which is 6 times this season, we haven't won a single one of those games. And with him starting, we've only lost, we've lost a few, probably a few as well, but we've won a lot, basically more is what I was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Last season, I'd have laughed you off.
Yeah.
This season, he's been an asset and he's an absolute engine, and he does come back and he puts in vital tackles and he gets the ball forward and he covers a lot of people. He gets forward and back so well.
Well, speaking of covering people, I was one who thought Sirkin didn't have a good game. Obviously, he popped up with the equaliser later on, but I kept thinking, what's different? Why is he not doing as well in this game, Sirkin? And then I saw an average sort of heat map of where Jobe Bellingham's position is, and I did upload it to this, so I'll put it on now. So that, obviously, shooting left to right, is the average heat map of Jobe Bellingham. Yeah, we're shooting at Mike. And as you can see, he's more favoured towards the side that Sirkin would be on. Maybe that's picking up the ball on the, on the inside pass, or looking for the 1-2s on the overlaps, but also maybe defensively covering him, so that if Sirkin's suddenly faced at 1-on-1, he's also the option to maybe stop them coming in field.
He's definitely a big presence on that left side of midfield. You can see that there, can't you? Yeah, even in defence, he's getting back and he's getting vital tackles in, and you see that. It does look like a weird pair of lungs, but it
does, really, it does. But I mean, it was just interesting to see, and it was just like, right, well, actually, is there something in this? Because if I upload the fixtures as well, so this is the games now. See at the top of your screen there, we start at QPR. So QPR was obviously where he got sent off for a violent conduct. It wasn't it there? So you start with Preston, where we, if I go to this one, Preston, that was your starting lineup there without him. That was the...
Yeah, but I mean, that formation, I question the formation there.
Yeah, it was probably Isidore further up and Watson further up. But this game we drew 0-0, as you can see at the top there. But it seemed like we tried to change our whole shape without
We were
Bellingham.
playing Isidore out of position and we were playing Connolly up front, which I remember this game because I was absolutely fuming at. And we didn't have Patterson in goal at the time as well.
Yeah.
So as much as I think he's a miss, I think there's too many factors of this one why that went wrong.
Potentially. So then you move on to the game afterwards, which was Coventry at home, which we flipped, obviously, because we're the home side.
Yeah, closer to the formation's all wrong again, but this is closer to what
they don't know
should
what they're
be.
talking about. But although Rig has been like a supporting sort of second striker with Isidore recently, but not quite a 4-4-2. Yeah.
Again, Simon Moore in goal. The player ratings are terrible on this, aren't they?
If it had been the first half, it might have been all 4.6s out of 5, something like that.
I think Brown and Neil struggle because I find them a very similar player. So I will say the other way, when Brown came on at Luton, when we were holding on, well, not holding on, but we were, trying to be defensively solid. It really made sense bringing Brown on for the experience. But again, is this a similar thing to Semed starting, where are we too defensive at home? But who's your big tackler there? Who's replacing Bellingham there?
Exactly. Like, so even if we drop back to the Preston game, it's Neil and Brown again at this point. So then you go to Neil and Brown in this one. Then if I skip ahead to the Millwall game, which is rubbish again, because we did actually play 2 up top in that game, if you remember, with Connolly playing up top with Isidore.
The first he actually got a goal. He looked half decent for a slight second.
But again, you look in the midfield and go, where's the heavy tackler? Where's the engine in that? And you had Neil and Rig. And
we had 09 on the right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then I think, obviously, there's the Watford game from just the other day where you put Semed in there. Now, Semed, to me, doesn't seem like a heavy tackler. Very good at intercepting and reading the game from what I saw of him, but not a sort of a bruiser, a brute force in the midfield, And I'm not saying Bellingham's that, but Bellingham certainly throws himself around into challenges. And
commits to it. He absolutely commits to it.
And then the other 2 games that I sort of saw, but not really counting, were Preston in the League Cup, where we did deliberately field a weakened team, as you can see. Ekwar still around at that point as well. Bar still there. And then, of course, there was...
You call it a weakened team. You've got some great players in that team.
I know. Well, this is before Mundle had properly broken in with Clark going.
Mundle, Alshish, Ekwar, Rig... Well, we won't mention Bar.
Yeah. And then, so if we quickly go to Stoke City at home, in the FA Cup as well, and you can see Neil and Jones were the midfield sort of 2. Now, I thought Jones did all right, but again...
The big miss on the Stoke game for me was the large defender. You've no Ballard and Yelder. I know Yelder's quite tall and that, but he doesn't have the same... presence as Ballard, and he doesn't have the same anticipation. Is it anticipation the right word?
I know what you mean.
Of Meffin. Meffin can read a ball coming in. Well, it's halfway
Vision
in.
and anticipation, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was a big miss when Meffin's not there. That's a Meppin. Sorry.
Yeah. I know the comments were loving it this on Saturday because I said Meppin the whole game.
I got paid to say it.
Yeah, that's true. So it was just I suddenly saw it and I went, oh, it's worth mentioning that really, like, there's a big factor of our team that goes missing when one player isn't available. So you sit there and you go, Rig can't play, Enzo can play. Mundle isn't there, Watson's there. If they're not there, Enzo can play out there, Rig can play in there. Mayenda right, Roberts right. Neil,
I
Brown,
think Enzo could fill that role. He does come back and he does get tackles in. He is a workhorse.
He is. I don't know if he's as physically strong as well as.
No, he's technically definitely more slight. But I reckon he could fill that role.
Although, just quickly touching back on the Watford game, these are some of the worst corner kicks I've ever seen. Yet we scored from 2 corners. You got one corner that was really good, went to the back post, and that's the one that Hume passed over to a.
Can I just throw it out there?
Yeah.
Dodds leave.
Yeah.
We score at set pieces.
Who needs a set piece coach?
Putting 1 and 1 together. I might be getting 3, but I'm still putting them together.
So yeah, no, that was just it. It'd be interesting to see what people thought about, why haven't we been able to produce without Bellingham, I think is what I'm trying to get at.
And is it a massive worry if we lose him?
Well, I'm certainly glad we didn't lose him in January now. But hopefully this little knock that he's picked up isn't that bad. I think Lebris said he could have played, but it would have been a risk to lose him for longer if they'd have done it. So I understand, keeping him for later on. So let us know what you think in the comments about the game and about,
Can I ask you a question?
One-man team. You can. Go on then.
After that result, after seeing that game, after you knowing what you're knowing now, is top 2 out the question?
No, not mathematically, but I was starting to sit there and count points again and going like, right, well, this is how many we've lost now. And it's just the frustrating thing is, and that's the best word for it, frustrating, is teams slip up and we refuse to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's happened 3 or 4 times now. Whereas when we slip up, it always feels like they gain the advantage back. And I think it would be probably very typical us to not get a result against Luton, but go and beat Leeds at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Like, it'd
be nice to make a few points on Leeds.
Well, we've got a game in hand on them. We've got a game in hand on Leeds, and we play them. And I think I looked up the other day that Sheffield United, it's like Burnley play Leeds again, but Sheffield United don't play anyone again. Something like that, anyway. So
yeah.
It'll all come down to what we do against the others. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. Mike, do you want to say your goodbyes?
Yes, cheers for joining us. Back with the commentary, hopefully Wednesday, all things going to plan. I hope you enjoyed the little break that you got with Conrad. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that wonderful stuff. And and the winner of the shirt, sorry for the delay. I've been in Scotland. It's been posted. It's on its way to you.
There we go. Very good. Right. Well, thank you all for watching. We'll see you for our Luton preview, which should be out tomorrow. So see you later, everyone. Bye-bye now.
I've got to click it.
You've got to press buttons. I'll just sit here.